Hello YouTube, welcome back to Bison Workshop. I'm Bob, and we're going to do a little bit of work on this tailgate. This is getting to be a long video or series for something as simple as a tailgate, but you gotta look at it this way. We're getting a little detailed and we're making a lot of parts for it, so you know it takes time to make them parts. So let's get down here and look at what we got so far. Alright, so what we've got, I've already done the brackets. I've made them, so we got those made, and this is what it's going to look like basically. So what we have done here is took the original bolt that was in it, found a nut for it, and we just welded it to this by drilling a hole and then welding it on this side. And so now we've got our stud. So this will go on there just like that. This is the original washer. Then we got a lock washer, and then we've got this, the nut, and there's that. So what I've done, I need a way to attach this part. So we need something thin. Now that's going to be out there just like that, so we can put that pretty close to this bar right here, or tube. So I've got these little, which I'm probably going to take the lock washer off because that's going to make it stick out too far, because we don't want a big head on that. We need a shallow head, and this may not even be the one, but it's going to be 1/4-20, whatever it's going to be. So I wanted to use one of these here, and hex, I may even yet do that, but I don't know if I've got any metric taps. I'm pretty sure I don't have no metric taps. So, you know, I mean I do, but they're so old and wore out that the numbers are off of them and you can't tell what they are. If I can find one that's the same as this by using a thread gauge, yes, I'll probably use this, and I'll just file a flat on two sides of it and use a wrench, you know, file it down to the size wrench I want to use, and use that and put on there. And so what I'm going to do, in order to attach this, what I have to do is I need a stud in here, or a piece of steel to go in there. So we're planning on making a 1/2 inch piece that goes out just a hair past this bar right here. That way when we tighten this down on it, it won't tighten up against this and cause it to bind up. So we're going to take this and make a bar that goes through there that is threaded with 1/4-20 on the end, or whatever that thread is, and that will fit in there, which will be turned down to fit this hole, you know, like that shank is. And actually that ain't going to be the bolt. So we're going to take a piece of this and we're going to turn it down and leave a real heavy washer type deal that will go to the edge of this. Then we will mark where we're going to go on this end, and this here will all be turned down to 1/2 inch round, minus this part right here. So that way when we drill the hole in this, wherever we're going to drill our hole, we can stick this through there, and then we can tack weld it on the inside of it, and we've got a threaded hole. For the simple reason, this stuff's really thin, and threading it, you're not really going to get a good strong thread. So we're going to put a stud in there that's threaded on the end of it, drilled and tapped, so that we can put a bolt in there. So that's what we're going to do. We may have to take and lay this down to where it's thinner. I don't know yet. We'll decide. But I want it to be as thin as I can possibly get it, and still be able to use a wrench on it. So that's what we're going to do, is turn that piece, and we'll show you what we're going to do on the lathe. Now what I decided to do on this, instead of making a handle, I found these springs that look pretty decent. Once I paint this black, that will look good. These will be painted black. This will be painted black. The spring will be left the way it is. These are going to be painted black or blued. I don't know yet. I may blue them, and because they're going to be oiled and greased inside here, so this is not going to rust. We're just going to have to worry about this rusting. So it's long enough to pull it, and so the next thing we'll do is we'll go ahead and turn that piece that's going to go in here. So let's we'll meet at the lathe. Alright, so I found a piece here that I have already started working on that I thought I was going to use for the pins for the latch. So we're going to use this, and this part here from that pencil mark is going to go through the square tubing, and then this is where we're going to cut it off. So we'll take this over to the bandsaw and cut that off once we're done, and then we'll make 2 of those. So we're going to tap or drill this out. We're going to tap it for 1/4 20. Then we're going to turn this down to 1/2 inch diameter, and then we're going to cut that off, and we'll be done. So let's get started. Alright, so I made this test piece to test to see how close we are, and I've got just a little bit overhang so that when the washer tightens up, it's still going to turn freely. So now we got to tap it out. I've already drilled it. I drilled it 1 inch, and I'm only going to tap about 3/4 of that, and I really don't even need that much. Alright, so now all we're going to do is cut that off with the bandsaw, and number 1 is ready. I'm going to go ahead and make the other one and cut them off, and we'll meet you at the bench. Alright guys, so now we've got our pins made, and they will go in there, and then I'll spot weld them on each side. But for now, I've drawn where I want to put that. I've made a mark where I want to put that hole, and once I drill my holes, I'll just slide them down in there and then weld them. So that's going to be the next thing. Alright, so what we're going to do here now, I've cleaned that off and I've got that stud put in there, and we want to make sure that we have enough sticking out that it ain't going to be a problem. So we're going to put our bolt and our washer on it. And we've got plenty. So now I'm just going to take this back off, and we'll put a bigger washer on it so that it will tighten down while we weld it. Here we have this bracket that goes on there, and we want to try to get us just as much room as we possibly can get. So that'll go in there just about like that right there. And I believe we'll have this taken care of. So I'm going to wire wheel all this stuff and get ready to paint it, because I believe we're at the point where we can go ahead and paint this. So we'll just hang all this stuff up and get ready to paint it. I'll tell you, you better get all the hangers you can. Everything's turning to plastic, man. Ain't no such thing as wire hangers anymore. They're getting harder to find. And I love using hangers for hanging my stuff. And every wire hanger I find, I keep. Alright, so do I want to paint these? Yeah, why not? Alright, so we're going to paint the bolt too. And we'll just take that and stick her in there just like that. And we just got to be careful that we don't lose it. The weight will hold it in place. Don't really need to do the springs because they're going to be coated in grease. And these washers are stainless steel that's going on between the two little springs. So the only thing that's steel is the bolt itself. Actually, I think I'm just going to paint the tip. I was going to blue them, but I don't want to waste my blue on that. It's going to rust anyway. Alright, so then we've got these two washers. And then I've got these that I use for my washers. That way I can paint them both at the same time. Just like that. Alright, we're going to do these two washers also. And now we've got all of our parts hanging and drying, and then tomorrow we can put her together and put the panel on it. Alright, so now we have taken some of that refrigerator siding and we've marked our pieces at 12.5, and I've already cut one, and this is it. And basically that's just gonna go on our frame just like so. And then this will get pop riveted all the way across there and down each one of these, and then this will get folded around with a dead blow hammer, and we just, once we get it pop riveted on there, then we will just fold that over and then pop rivet it to the steel pipe or steel dowel. Now this is a solid pipe or a solid stock, so we'll just have to drill it maybe 1/4 inch and with an 1/8 inch drill bit, and just pop rivet it every so often. Probably, I don't know, maybe one in each one of these spots here, and then we'd probably do maybe 3 in between there, 3 in between here, and 2 right here. So that way we got a good run of pop rivets along this bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this other piece. So now we'll just finish this up. We're going to put pop rivets along here, and then we'll do the other side, and we'll bring you back when we're ready to install it on the trailer. Alright guys, here she is. All painted up, riveted up. Alright, see, this one needs adjusted a little bit because it's a little off. This one here is falling perfect. So, see what I mean? It's just too tight. It's not letting it relax. Yeah, this one needs to come down a little bit. So we've got several choices. Be nice if I can get that wallered out, but it ain't going to happen. So I'm going to have to waller this out on the top and waller this one on the top to make it so that it'll be further down. Because look, this one needs to be down a little bit further. So I can either take this down, but because I've got the screw hole in there already, it's going to try to go into the same screw hole because it's so slight of a movement that it's always going to hit that hole. So we're just going to waller these holes out a little bit, make them egg shaped, and that'll work. But there you got it. With a little bit of adjustment on this one, it's done. So here we have tailgate. And it's funny that it tries to go up instead of down. Well, actually, I could use that to my advantage. I can make it so it sets up like that. But there we have it. Bison built tailgate. What do y'all think? Looks pretty good, don't it? Looks good to me. So let me go ahead and end this because this video is getting pretty long. But I wonder if I can set on it. Yeah, I can set on it. All my weight's on it. So I can have a tailgate party with my trailer. So now the only thing left to do is waller these holes out to make them extend longer, so this one's tight as well as this one, because we want both of these to be exactly the same. And since this one here is right, then this one here, once it's tight, then we know this one's right. When both of them's tight at the same time, they're right. So this one's perfect. This one needs a little adjustment, and that'll work. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Anyway, you guys have a good one. Later.